Hi, Albert here. In this video I'm gonna explain you the history and the reasoning behind the V shape of the sole of our EvoBoots. Around 2009, Flora and I met in a barefoot seminar performed by a guy called Nelson Pinto. Maybe you know it. Instantaneously, we became friends and I began to collaborate with the floating boot creation. That was in its first steps at that moment. At some point, during the testing phase, we realized that the lateral sides of the boots were doing an outwards movement during the maximum load moment due to the expansion of the hoof. If you ask yourself, how did we knew back then that was happening? It's simply because the glue-ons prototype that we were testing at that moment were becoming detached on that region, on the lateral sides. So we had to find a solution. We tried several options to permit the boot to expand in the same way as the hoof was trying to do. The first thing that we tried was making a longitudinal cut with a big circular hole in its end. The problem with this was that mud, stones and sand were finding its way in and getting trapped between the boot and the hoof, creating some discomfort to the horse. So it showed up not to be a good solution for us. After other tests with other solutions, we tried to promote this expansion with a triangle on its sole. But at this moment, we did it without holes, and we realized that was very good for the longitudinal deformation, but not for the expansion, because the issue was still there. So we found something by accident, but there was still the need of another ingredient. And this ingredient that changed everything were the holes. We tried with holes of different shapes, circles, triangles, ovals, but rhomboids were the best doing that job. But what about the mud, sand and the rocks? Were not they getting into through the holes? I don't know if you know much about floating boot, but it comes with a rubber insert glued on the inside of the sole, covering that region. That has some pros and cons, as everything in life, but stops rocks, sand and mud from getting in. In fact, the floating boot was the first boot of the market with this new feature in its design. But later on, Flora and I began to work in the EVOS design in a new company. With EVOS, we wanted to bring that feature to another new level, so we made it longer and a little bit wider, and the result from those changes, the hoof distortion was totally enhanced at its maximum capacity. After those tests, we made rhomboids again, but mud, sand and rocks were getting in and sometimes destroying this part of the boot. So we had to find a solution for this new challenge again. We began to play around with several options, a lot of times quite complex to accomplish, and finally the solutions comes out to our mind and was just in front of our eyes, the horse's frog. The horse's frog is a triangle with an accordion or a double V shape, and that's exactly what we did. We simply copied nature and made the EVOS V shape that consists of a big triangular blind hole with an accordion or waving in the thin part of the material. This solution permits to the EVOS to expand and distort with the hoof, and at the same time avoids any risk of breakage and prevents the sand, rocks or mud from getting in through this structure. Okay, so I hope you like to know a little bit more about our amazing boot and its history. Please leave your comments and thoughts below, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, share it so your friends can know about our boots, and as always, stay safe, protect your horse and enjoy your rides.